Happy Thursday, everybody, and thank you for tuning into episode 3 of Cloud Talk with the Pros. I'm going to be your tour guide today, Anthony Joseph, and we have a fun segment today. It's going to be about technology business reviews or quarterly business reviews. Probably heard your technology provider throw those acronyms out there, TBR, QBR. So we're going to dive into why those meetings are so important. And as a customer, why you don't want to be canceling those meetings. You want to be attending those meetings. So before we get ahead of ourselves, let's talk a little bit about what a technology business review meeting is. It's really when the customer comes to the meeting with a blank check in their credit card and they're ready to buy everything the technology service provider offers them, right? Wrong. Absolutely wrong. And if your technology business reviews are more like sales meetings, abort mission, right? And I'm going to dive into a few things that we do differently here at Data Pros and why our quarterly business reviews are not sales meetings. They're actually alignment meetings. So, what is a technology business review? It's exactly that. It's an alignment meeting where two businesses, right, the technology provider and the customer, come together and talk about goals, whether it's for this quarter, the remainder of the year. We align ourselves, we understand, and we benchmark what we're trying to achieve. A lot of times, there are some products that are introduced because there are specific gaps. And yes, you need to buy products, right? That's just business. However, it is not meant to be here's a line item of all these different products that are new in the industry and that you need them, right? Absolutely not. We want to learn, we want to educate, we want to listen. And that's our three-phased approach here at Data Pros, and we're going to kind of peek under the hood a little bit about how we do it as a managed Microsoft provider and a technology service provider. And it all starts with, again, a process. So when we're having these technology business reviews, we start every meeting out relatively similar with KPIs, right? Some stats. And not to bore people, I don't like stats. The executive doesn't like stats, but sometimes they just need to be reminded what we're doing on a daily basis, right? A lot of things that we do happen behind the scenes. So they just need to see some numbers to understand, okay, this is what I'm paying data pros for, right? And it could be a mix of things. It could be high level tickets that we helped you with. It could be backup and disaster recovery drills that we conducted that quarter, training sessions that we conducted that quarter. Here at Data Pros, we do a lot of training and coaching. So again, we're going to be talking about those items and those events that we hosted. But it's really the first 5, 10 minutes of the meeting. And again, these meetings, do them in person nowadays. Teams, Zoom, Google Meets, that was all great during COVID. However, people like interacting with people face to face, like giving handshakes. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Business Owner, how have things been, right? So doing these in person, it really closes that gap, builds the relationship. So for the first part of our meeting, we're talking KPIs, we're talking stats. The next part, we're educating, right? We're the technology experts. There's a lot going on in our space, just as much as so there's a lot going on in your space, but we need to educate you a little bit. So we're going to talk about changes that we've seen. A lot of cybersecurity changes happen. So that's usually the majority of what we're going to be talking about. But as a Microsoft partner, we do everything in the cloud, everything in Microsoft Cloud, whether it be Microsoft 365, Azure, Dynamics, the Power Platform. So we're going to talk to you about some new things there. Microsoft is releasing new apps every day, right? This year it's been crazy. You've got Copilot, you've got Loop, you've got Copilot for security, ChatGPT, AI. I mean, the list goes on and on. So educating your customers about those things is very important. You're the subject matter expert. At the end of the day, they're coming to you as an advisor. So you need to educate them on the things that are happening. And a lot of times we talk verticals here because again, technology business reviews, quarterly business reviews, they're unique. It's not a one size fits all meeting. It's unique to the customer. So we're going to relay it to their industry. If they're a supply chain, their commercial real estate, their financial services, we're going to talk about some things that we see there in their vertical. A lot of times for financial services, right? Those customers, compliance is a big thing. It's kind of changing, right? So you need to address some of the new features there. And as a Microsoft partner, we do more with less. So we understand they're making an investment with us, with the Microsoft products, and we look there first to see if there's anything that we can do to help them to add value, right? So we're educating them there. And it's a dialogue, it's a back and forth. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, you've been to any networking events recently? Are you seeing these things in your industry? Something that we've seen as a technology provider, but are you also seeing them? Create that rapport, right? So you covered the first part of your meeting with the stats, the KPIs. They know what you're doing roughly. You've educated them on some changes in the marketplace. The next part and the majority of the meeting is when we start to listen, right? And this is really where the dialogue starts to happen. We listen to pain points, we listen to business goals, and we listen to what their objectives are for the remainder of the year. And again, it's unique for every customer. It's always going to be unique, but this is really where you build loyalty, trust, and a better reputation, not only with the person you're speaking with, but with their company and with their employees, right? Here's a perfect example. Having this meeting, and now you start to ask them simple questions. How has business been? What are your plans for the remainder of the year? Growth related, right? Are you looking to 2x, 3x? Are you looking to sell, acquire? Learning these things creates the alignment between your two businesses. We have business objectives, our customers have business objectives. We want to understand how we can implement technology to help them meet some of these objectives, right? So we're talking to our customer and we're listening to those pain points. And a lot of times we give them a little bit, right? I lead the conversation. I say, we've seen some pain points in this department, specifically within your vertical. HR has these pain points. Do you see those? Yeah, our HR team, we could probably be doing things more efficiently. And that's where we lend our hand as a subject matter expert to guide them. Say, well, are you still doing this? Are you still sending static email attachments? Are you encrypting files when you're sending them or emails when you're sending them? And it starts that rapport of, okay, great, they're here to help me. They understand my business. You're listening, but you're offering key guidance where they need it. And the important part of this section of your meeting is really to take notes of how you're going to make an impact this quarter, the next quarter, following quarter. And a lot of times what we do is we hear the pain points, we hear the problems that they're having, and then we lend a hand by, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Business Owner, we're actually going to send one of our engineers out the first month, right? A couple times to actually sit behind your accounting department and understand where they might be seeing or working through some obstacles. And then we're going to come back internally and we might have a solution right off the bat that's great. It's set it and forget it. Or there's some designing, there's some architecture. And again, that's professional service, right? That's your sales pitch as the from the provider's point of view, but you're delivering a service, you're delivering a solution that has tangible results and a return on the investment, right? You could say, by putting this service in play or this solution, even if it's something as simple as more adoption into SharePoint so you can share links that are secure versus static attachments, and you can organize your Outlook inbox to create some automation workflows where that once you get certain specific links from specific vendors, it goes into a new bucket. A simple workflow like that can help save a person a few hours a week. Right there, you present that to the business owner. You say, with this little workflow implementation, you can save about 2 to 3 hours a week. Right there is the tangible value that the business owner immediately says, great, let's do it. So it's not bringing them a list of new products to sell. It's not about we. It's what we do. Not at all. It's about listening, creating that business relationship, building trust. Again, we're the subject matter experts just as much as they are in their field. So they're coming to us for guidance. We need to deliver that guidance, but make sure that there's always value behind it. And data pros, we're a little bit different than other providers. And we're not afraid to say that because the offer that we provide is is backed by the Microsoft Cloud, right? And what we're doing is extremely special in that space. So if you're using Office 365, we want to make sure that you see a return on that investment. That's just a little bit about how we do technology business reviews. Again, this is not a one size fits all. It's not our way is better than someone else's way. It's just important that you start to think about that. We're ending quarter 1 this week, quarter 2 starts next week. This is the perfect time to start to schedule your technology business reviews or your quarterly business reviews. If you're not doing them, make sure you start to do them. Ask your provider, hey, can we get these on the table, right? Um, and if you're looking for a change, reach out. We're happy to help. We're happy to assess your technology environment and offer you some sound advice because, again, we're here to educate and be a partner and an advisor. Not every meeting with the customer is a sales meeting. And unfortunately, technology business reviews, they got to be that way. It got to be, all right, I have the attention of the executive, 4 times a year. I need to have this big budget aligned. And budgets are important, but I talk about budgets in that first section when we're talking about KPIs. I mentioned the budget, and there's the black and white budget of these devices need to be recycled. You need these server licenses, these firewall license. It's just the cost of doing business, right? That's presented out front, but it's not meant to be a laundry list of you also need to fit this in your budget because it came out and I'm going to fear monger you into why you need this. Not at all. We're presenting the facts, and every technology business review is different. It's meant to be aligned with the customer's goals, and that's what we do here at Data Pros. So we really appreciate you listening to us today. We hope you were able to get some nuggets from what I had to say. Again, if you're not following us on LinkedIn, we actually just started a LinkedIn newsletter, which is really cool. It gets delivered to your mailbox weekly. It's Microsoft tips, as we are a Microsoft partner. We want to keep everybody in the loop of what's going on there, but it's technology based. So if you're interested in that, check out our LinkedIn. And thank you so much for watching again. Happy Thursday. We're almost at the end of the week, starting quarter 2 next week. So best of luck to everybody. Thank you again. Take care. Be well.